I also wanted to mention that where Michael's sitting, we have flyers for Hudson River School Clearwater to become a member and come out on public sales, and also information about the upcoming Clearwater Festival, which is the weekend of June 15th and 16th in Croton Falls. Croton Point Park. So, I want to introduce Joe and Tink.
Does anybody have a flute in the audience? Like, not a recorder, but a regular flute? Because we were going to do a song that was really beautiful and deep, and then we thought...
decided not to.
Not to. And there's a song I play flute on, but, you know, I don't have my flute.
That would be a table.
But no, anyone have a regular flute? Okay. The song's brilliant anyway. But,
this is my toe. She bosses me around.
Okay. I'm going to say a few things and disappear because the real talent is there. So I'm just going to say, you know, this is a beautiful venue, and I think a lot of you know about the Towne Crier from when it was in Poland. And we were you know, thanks to Phil. Phil gave us a lot of support in our early days. And then when he decided to open here, he asked if we could play opening night, which was in October, maybe 2 months before Pete passed. And the day before we were going to do the grand opening, he was in the basement, like really kind of stressing out, like, what can I bring that's really special to support Phil and the community and make it a great night. And then all of a sudden, he's down in the basement, he got this really strong push. Go out of the house.
The ghost talked to me.
The ghost started talking to him. We live in Cold Spring.
There were drugs for that.
Yeah. So, and what's funny is at the same time I felt like, go downstairs. Someone telling me go downstairs to talk to him. So, long story short, we thought, we don't know why in the middle of the day, when we're trying to get work done, we're going to leave the house and go down to the Foundry Cafe in Cold Spring. And this, you know, even he said, I said, I think it closes at 3. So I called them, I said, can you stay open for us? And they said, yes. So we go down to the Foundry, we look in, and the chain was across the door, and it looked closed. But we looked in, and Pete was in there. And there was a few things that happened. One is Tina, I believe, this is what Pete told us, Tina was looking for him, and she couldn't find him. He was waiting in there, but the chain was across the door, so she didn't think he was in there. So she couldn't find him, he couldn't find her. He didn't believe in cell phones and things like that. He had just gotten off the train from New York. So he was like just using the Foundry's phone to call her and call the doctor. And then finally, anyway, we walked in to pick up our order, and then we said to Pete, hey, you know, do you need a ride somewhere? And he said, yeah. And so he ended up, you know, we had lunch together. He got a piece of apple pie. We had our whatever. We had a little picnic with Pete. And I actually have a picture from that day. It was so awesome. And then what happened is, so you guys, and he knew us by sight because we played Clearwater a few times, and the Strawberry and the Pickle and the Corn Festival and all that. You know, so he kind of knew us a little bit. So. And he felt like, you know, we were friends. You know what I mean? Like we are. So we said, can we give you a ride somewhere? He said, yeah. So then what happened was we drove him up the mountain to his house, but the whole way from Cold Spring up through the tunnel and whatever, like every 5 feet,
the history of everything.
He's giving us the history of the Hudson River, foot by foot by foot, up to his house. And you know what he said. So we came in, and then he like just started. Anyway, the amazing thing about Pete was, the more he talked, we spent like hours with him. The more he talked, the more I realized, oh my God, that's his like younger brother. Like now I understand a lot. So just to
if I get active and do something to help benefit.
Yeah, so we had this beautiful meeting of the minds and souls with Pete, and I thought, this guy was just really one in a million. And we asked him, Pete, you know, if there's something, what do you feel we should do? Like, after all your life, because he told us his whole history, because he had the book on the wall, you know his book. He has, from infancy to whatever, he has every picture from every major historical event in his life, because that's his book, that he, you know, where all the flowers are gone. So he's like going through all the pictures, then he says, hey, I said, Pete, can I help you with something? He said, hey, you can help me edit, do another edition of the book. So then we're working, it's like, we just moved in for a couple hours. So anyway, poor Tink came in thinking that the hobos from down at the train just like, you know, rode home with Dad. And we felt really bad, you know. But anyway, to make a long story short, we said, Pete, if you could say anything to us, you know, us, like, after all you've been through and all you've seen, what guidance would you give to us now? And he said, wherever you are, you know, you can change, like, in a moment, in this moment we're in. If you just do things right now, it can change not only the future and the present, but the past. So he was a very cosmic guy. And the funny thing is, he had just written a song called The Eternal Present. So we thought, anyway, I'm going to just say, Pete was so much bigger than what I thought. And we already know he was a great soul. But I think he left us with a great legacy, and he was a real brother to all of us. So thank you. I know I rambled a bit, but there's not enough words to say about Pete.
We came with a song in mind, but we're not going to play that song. I'm going to play a song that Pete never heard us do. I wrote it recently. But whenever our band, we're the Slambovian Circus of Dreams. That's our day job. You know, whenever we play, we say this is a tip of the hat to Pete Seeger, the Allman Brothers, and Jethro Tull. So I'll play this song. Anyway, you know, the cool thing that Pete did, if I could just say for a second, is he created an icon that was easily understandable to a lot of people. And I think, you know, if we don't worship our icons, but we realize our job is to become like and better than the icons if we can, then I think it's, you know, behooves everybody. So Pete, I think, really achieved like a north point on compass for people, you know. I think we can follow what Pete did and become better people just by his example, so, and his family's examples. Well, babies are grown-ups, children are old, the future is present. Still untold, hearts scream for love in a world that's gone cold. We gotta step out of time. Our bodies like Chevys, they're stronger than steel. Storms break the levees, truths are revealed. What should we say now? What can be healed? We gotta step out of time. We're all from one mother, that's what they say. People of science are not just those who pray, so let's live for each other and become the way. We gotta step out of time. Step out of time, step out of time. Let's get our bodies aligned with our minds. Let's get our minds aligned with our hearts. Maybe it's there we can start. Yeah. Families in China, families at home, they get the jobs and they just get the phones. But who gets the money till the workers are born? We gotta step out of time. Step out of politics, we're all being played. Skits to distract while the real deals are made. Behind the curtain, who's pulling the reins? We gotta step out of time. He walked the road till we called him the man. If you like the ducks and we stepped in the sand, but we're still building cannons, making war plans. We gotta step out of time. Step out of time, step out of time. Let's get our bodies alive with our minds. Let's get our minds alive with our hearts. Maybe it's there we can start. Step out of time, start it again. Love not religion, enemies, friends. All of these isms and vanities end. We gotta make the world right. If we know enough to know what's really cool, to know what is mean and what's just outright cruel. They say religion, but they just use tools. They just can't take it no more. Step out of countries, step out of pride, step out of worlds where the lovers all die. Let's live for each other, ride the new tide. We gotta step out of time. Step out of time, step out of time. Let's get our bodies alive with our minds. Let's get our minds alive with our hearts. Maybe it's there we can start. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joe. All right, so next scheduled performer